everything we want to accomplish is in front of us.
Hey, don't snooze, because I'm going to get you.
Players Club. I had to mix it up a little bit. The Players Club is presented by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. Welcome into the Players Club, joined by my man Santana Moss and QB1 Sam HOWell. Sam, we appreciate you joining us on the Players Club.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
All right, man. So, Sam, we like to start the show off with all our guests, asking them who are their top 3 players all time at their particular position. So we want to know, who are your top 3 quarterbacks of all time? This healthy conversation is presented by Cigna Healthcare.
Man, I mean, you want me to rank like who I think is the best?
Who are your favorite? Your favorite quarterbacks.
My favorite growing up was Drew Brees. Drew Brees for sure. Just he wasn't the most athletically gifted guy, but just the way he played the game and just how efficient he was. Drew Brees is definitely my number 1 guy. And then after that, I mean, I love watching Aaron Rodgers. Growing up watching Aaron Rodgers, and then I got to throw Tom in there. Just the way he was able just to sustain success. And those are kind of my 3 guys growing up watching.
It's crazy because one of the guys today on our podcast kind of mentioned that you had a little bit of Drew Brees in you. You know, they kind of was we had a little segment in our podcast, the Command Center podcast. Yeah. We had to kind of like mesh them, like find 2 guys that kind of resemble your game. So someone said you had a little Drew Brees in you. So
did you try to take any parts of those guys and put it into your game as you were kind of growing up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I watched a lot of Drew Brees, and I think we're kind of built similar way.
Yes.
We're not the tallest guys, and just he was always on time with the ball. He always knew exactly where the ball should go. So those are still things I'm still trying to, do a better job of. He was so good at just, when it's not there, getting to the check down and just little things like that. And I think just those are some of the things that I'm still trying to work into my game and doing a better job. I feel like I've improved in that area over the season. But there's definitely still a lot of things that I think I can improve on. But, Drew's definitely, just the way he played the game and how efficient he was, and he did it for a long time. So he was fun to watch.
Now, may I ask, because even as a receiver, I remember early in my years of watching football, it was like Jerry Rice was for me. He was the guy, But then as I got older, I kind of tried to find that guy that resembled me. So was it always Drew, or was it someone else that kind of caught your eye, and then you kind of say, okay, Drew resembles me a little more, so let me watch him a little closer?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think I move around a little bit more than Drew did. And I think I can do some things outside the pocket that Drew didn't really do a whole lot. So, I mean, obviously, you watch some other guys, like what Josh Allen is doing in Buffalo, what Mahomes is doing. I think I can do some of those things. And, not that Drew couldn't. Yeah. But, that wasn't his game. And his game was from inside the pocket. So I think – I don't know if my play style is exactly like Drew Brees, but just from a fan standpoint and from a role model standpoint, Drew Brees was that guy.
That's a good guy.
I will say this, having played against Drew his rookie year when he was with the Chargers, played against him a number of times when he was with the Chargers, and then played with him later in his career when he was in New Orleans. There are some similarities in terms of how you both go about the approach to the game, just demeanor on the football field. Especially as a young guy, I'm going against Drew. I'm like, man, this guy's pretty mature to be such a young guy. Couldn't really kind of rattle him. As defenses, we want to rattle a young quarterback, But so those are definitely similarities. All right, cool, man. So we want to get into you and kind of your football journey. Time for the player profile presented by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. North Carolina, growing up there as a young guy, when you first started playing the game, first of all, how old were you, and did you always play the quarterback position?
Yeah, so I started playing flag football when I was in first grade, and I did play quarterback. I played both sides of the ball pretty much up until college. And I love playing defense. But I played quarterback every single year, my whole entire life. But first grade, I played flag football. Then from second grade on, I've played tackle, but I've always played quarterback.
I'm curious, what was the position on the defense side?
Yeah, it changed, between safety and linebacker. So I played both sides every single play up through middle school. Then in high school, my junior year and senior year, I played a little defense. Not my dad wouldn't let me play a whole lot. But
now we know why he's so tough.
We know
why he's so tough.
Yeah, man, I would beg to play defense, man. I wanted to play every play.
So when you were playing defense in high school, did they have you playing mainly safety because you were playing quarterback, or did you still play linebacker your junior and senior year?
Yeah, I played a little bit of both. It just kind of depended on who we were playing and what they kind of wanted me to do. Like if we were playing we played like Charlotte Catholic.
Yeah,
they run
wing T,
the wing T and all that triple option stuff. So I was playing linebacker then. We played, another triple option team. I played linebacker, but if it was a team that threw the ball, I'd play safety a little bit. But they just had to keep me out of man coverage. I can't man cover. I can't cover.
Come down and cover nobody, huh?
Man, I got beat. I got beat once or twice for sure.
How different is that? Playing the quarterback position, you kind of like the commander of that offense, and then playing either linebacker or safety, because some safeties kind of can be that guy too. Ed Reed was the guy that when Ray wasn't around, he was the guy back there making the calls. What's the difference between those two positions and leading that particular core?
Yeah, man, I think there's a lot of similarities. For me, when I was on defense, I wasn't the guy calling it, or just because I didn't practice it a whole lot, and I really wasn't a defensive guy, so I really couldn't tell you how it is, from a leader standpoint, from a guy who's calling it. But I'm sure there's a lot of similarities. You still kind of get in a little huddle and break the huddle and try to get guys lined up. And there's a lot of communication that goes on defense. A lot more on defense than there is probably on offense. And so there definitely is a lot of similarities. But no, it was fun, man. Just being back there and just relaxing and playing football, and you don't really have much to think about like you do when you play quarterback.
I'm glad you brought up your high school days. Just when you go back and you look at the numbers that you put up in high school, 4-year starter town. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if you know these. He's a 4-year starter, threw for over 13,000 yards, ran for over 3,600, and had a total between 145 yards passing. 145 TDs passing. 60 touchdowns rushing. So he had 205 yards, 205 total TDs.
Y'all was playing 7-on-7?
What? Man,
that is ridiculous, man.
It was fun.
How did you put up those type of numbers?
Yeah, it was, obviously, I had a lot of really good players around me, and we were able to, we kind of grew up together playing football together, and we played the same offense. So my dad was my offensive coordinator my whole entire life. So he was coaching high school, but then he also would coach my teams growing up, and we kind of had the same group of kids, from elementary school, middle school, and then to high school. So we've been running the offense our whole entire lives. So we knew how to run it. We knew what we were good at, and we were just kind of able to go out there on the field, and we knew where everyone was going to be, and we knew how to run my dad's system. So we just went out there and made it happen.
So with all those numbers, because that kind of leads into the question I was going to ask, having numbers like that, and I'm pretty sure it was schools everywhere, coming out of out the woodworks. When did you knew that you was going to have a chance to go play on in college?
Yeah, obviously I always thought I was good enough, and even after my freshman year of high school, I thought I should be getting offers and stuff like that, but they really didn't come until after my sophomore season. And Maryland was my first scholarship offer. So I personally thought I could do it, but I really truly didn't believe it until I started getting those scholarship offers, just because you really never know until it actually happens. So once I finally got those scholarship offers, and once I got my first one, a lot more started coming in after that.
That's still kind of early though. You say sophomore year?
It was pretty early. I'm being greedy. I would just look at other kids around the country and be like, dang man, like I feel like I should be getting some scholarship offers, but it's definitely a blessing to be able to have options and decisions like I did, and fortunately I made the right decision.
You mentioned making the right decision. Initially, you committed to FSU, Florida State University. What led to you flipping to UNC?
Yeah, obviously there was a lot that went into it. I had a lot of offers, and I wanted to play, big time college football. And me growing up, I think Florida State was one of those schools that was competing for national championships, with Jameis and when Jimbo was there. And then obviously when Florida State offered me, I looked into it hard, and when I got my first scholarship offer from Maryland. The offense coordinator there was from a guy named Walt Bell. So he was offense coordinator at Maryland. He offered me my first scholarship, and he actually was the offense coordinator at Florida State when I was coming out of high school. So that played a big part in me committing to Florida State, and just want to play with him. And obviously I had a lot of respect for him just because he was the one who gave me my first offer. And so obviously, and I loved the school and I loved the program, but when it kind of came down to it, that was the year Jimbo left. And so the program was kind of struggling at the time, and I didn't really feel comfortable going down there. And I knew North Carolina was a school that obviously I visited a lot. It's close to home, and it was just a place I felt comfortable. And they brought Mac Brown back. So his first year was my first year there. So we kind of came in together and were able to kind of get the program going in the right direction.
Well, you say your dad was your coach, so this another thing that adds kind of to my question. I guess sports is big in your household. So which parent, or did both of them play collegiately or have, some kind of sports background?
Yeah, so they both, so my dad, he played football obviously his whole life, and he wrestled.
Okay.
And so he played some football in college at Wingate University.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he wrestled at Appalachian State. And then my mom played volleyball at Appalachian State, so that's where they met.
That's what's up.
So yeah, my mom, she was coaching softball, volleyball, basketball, and she worked at the high school, so she was always around sports. And obviously my dad was coaching football, so it was definitely an athletic family for sure.
Yeah, that's dope.
Shout out to your dad, man, Duke.
Yeah, yes sir.
Did they win their first playoff game?
Nah, they lost, man. They went over to Porter Ridge and got beat, but it was a good season for him to get that team back to the playoffs. It was a team that obviously this was his first year being a head coach in high school.
Yeah.
And the team he took over, I think, won 2 or 3 games last year, and he was able to take them to the playoffs this year. So a good first season for him.
Yeah, that's big. Shout out to Duke.
Yeah,
Yes,
and you also was a baseball player growing up. And how did that help you, being a baseball player, help you in terms of developing into the quarterback that you are today?
Yeah, I think it played a big part. Baseball was the first sport I ever played, and it was really my first love was baseball. And I spent so much time playing travel baseball. That's where probably most of my athletic memories are, those travel baseball days. And I would play, during football season too. I would play games on Friday and then play baseball Saturday on Sunday. So I love baseball, but I think, I played middle infield, so just working on those quick hands all the time. And, I think there's a lot of translation as far as, trying to get the ball out quick and having a quick release that baseball can help you with, and throwing from different arm angles. When you're playing shortstop, you're playing second base, at times you got to sidearm the ball and play with your arm angles. And I think some of that stuff can help you in football for sure.
So you said that was your first love. So what took you away from it?
Yeah, I definitely had to make a decision. When I was in high school, I had some MLB scouts looking at me, but I think I just truly fell in love with the quarterback position, and just watching NFL football. I wanted to be an NFL quarterback.
You could have been eating sunflower seeds in the dugout somewhere, man. Not taking all these hits.
It's definitely a calmer sport, and not near as much pressure. But
you like it on the edge, though, right?
Exactly. I love playing this position, and I love everything that it takes to play the position. Just because it's so hard, and I believe it's the hardest position in sports. But I love it, and I fell in love with that at a young age, and it's been my goal to get to where I'm at my whole entire life. So I'm forever grateful for it.
But you mentioned, what's it like as a quarterback to be in the pocket? You have, whether it's 4 defensive linemen, 5 if they're sending extra, or even 6 sometimes, or 7 like the Patriots did, and they're coming at you, and you got to stand in that pocket and deliver. Is that is it a rush? Is it like a calm, or is it like what's it feel? Is it nerve-wracking?
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely there's a little bit of a rush there, just because it's a heated moment, and I just think you just got to be able to, kind of zone it out, and focus on what you're supposed to be focused on. Focus on keeping your eyes downfield, and I kind of take a lot of pride in knowing that people are trying to come get me, and it's my job to get the ball out before they get there. And I think that's an area I've improved throughout the season. But it's a lot of fun, man. Just and trusting those guys up front to block those guys, and that's the best thing about the game of football is it takes every man to do their job. If a receiver's not getting open, then then the protection has to hold up a little longer. What I'm saying? It all ties up together, and that's one of the best things about playing the position.
Oh, I love it. We got a lot more to chat about with Sam Howell when we come back from this short break. Welcome back into the Players Club. I'm London Fletcher, joined by Santana Moss and Sam HOWell. We're going to talk about this Commanders offense and your big game against the New England Patriots.
It's time for Protect the House, brought to you by Johnson Kendall Johnson, the official insurance broker and risk management partner of the Washington Commanders, where our passion is your protection.
Sam, you were out there dealing against the Patriots last week, man. You had 9 different guys caught passes. I believe it was 6 guys caught at least 3 passes or more. What's it like to have that many weapons at your disposal?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we have obviously so many great playmakers and a lot of guys that are super talented, and I think EB's doing a really good job of mixing up personnel and getting different guys in there and knowing how to utilize certain guys' strengths. But it's a lot of fun because usually on an offense there's usually 1 or 2 guys that you kind of feature, and for us we spread the ball around, so it kind of makes everybody happy. And obviously some guys probably feel like they should be getting the ball a little more, but I think you'll always have those type of problems. But it's a lot of fun that you can get so many different guys involved because you really don't see it a whole lot. Usually when you watch football, you see the teams have the same few guys out there every single time, and us having the opportunity to mix certain guys in there, it just gives more people opportunities. And that's what I want to do as a quarterback, is spread the ball around and make sure everyone has a chance to show what they can do. You
just answered my question. I was going to ask you, in your previous offense from college and leading up to now, was it like this for you all always? Because every week it's like you're dealing to everybody. And are you comfortable with doing it that way, or are you used to coming from a system where you had that primary guy, you had probably like 1 or 2 more targets, but it seemed like every week is 9 plus? You feeding everybody the ball, making everybody happy. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of new for me. Just in high school and college, it was kind of thrown to the same 2 guys. Yeah. But I enjoy it. I think it's an awesome thing where you can get a lot of guys involved, and it obviously keeps more people happy. Yeah. And everyone loves to touch the rock, but I just think it makes our offense come together more, knowing that there's so many guys that are playing a role on Sundays. Yeah. And it's not just the same 1 or 2 guys every single week that are making the plays. It's everybody. Yeah. So it's definitely a lot of fun to be a part of.
It also helps that you don't have any diva wide receivers. Yeah. I talk with Tata all the time about these wide receiver divas. He was a number 1 receiver for a long time. Didn't act like one, because I've been on some teams where, man, if that number 1 guy wasn't getting the ball enough to his liking, you were going to let the quarterback know. He's going to let the offensive coordinator know. He's going to let everybody know why he should be getting the ball. What's it like to have so many unselfish guys in that that receiver core and the backs and the tight ends as well? Yeah, it's awesome, and I think it starts with Terry, and I think Terry sets the tone for all those guys. And obviously Terry's our number 1 guy, and he's and he's making a lot of money, and he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. And if you came in here, you wouldn't be able to know, just kind of the way he acts and the way he carries himself. He's a great guy, great human, great teammate. And obviously, he might feel like he needs the ball a little bit more, but me personally, I think he needs the ball more as well. I think he's definitely a guy that we want to try to get the ball to as much as we can. But I've never heard any complaints from Terry as far as he needs the ball, and I think that's the best thing about him is, at the end of the day, he just wants to win, and he knows that obviously the ball is going to get spread around, and he knows his opportunities are going to come his way, and when they come his way, he takes advantage of them. But I think he definitely just sets the tone as far as being unselfish, and showing what a team player really looks like. Because he has everything he needs to be one of the best receivers in the league, and I think he probably hasn't had the production that he could have, just because he's not getting the ball as much as some of these other guys in the NFL. But he's definitely capable. But you would never hear any complaints from him, and that says a lot about him.
How hard is it, man, at times? Because I would love to know what going through your head at times, just knowing you have Terry over there, and you know how consistent he's been since he's been here. And you got the chance to watch that last year. Just when Heineke got in the game, Heineke knew who you automatically knew, like, Terry's getting his ball. How hard is it for a quarterback? And this is not even just talking about Terry. For any individual that you kind of have a lot of confidence in, how hard is it not to just kind of like, I want to go to this guy right now, dictating, from the dictating of what the defense is giving you and everything?
Yeah, obviously I think there's got to be a balance of trying to get the ball to a certain guy, and then at the same time trying to play the play how I'm taught to play, and go through my progression the way I'm taught to go through my progression. You know, I think that's where obviously it starts. Is, you know, I want to get the ball to the right guy as far as how I'm taught and how I'm taught to progress through the play.
Yeah.
But at times there is times where I kind of get to choose as far as who I want to work on certain plays or certain times of the game. And yeah, I mean, most of the time Terry's going to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and like one of the plays that comes to mind is like that last third down we had in the New England game, where I ended up throwing the deep ball to Diami. You know, Terry had to go route to his side as well, but you know, the safety was not going to let me throw the ball to Terry. And so like that's just one of those scenarios where you're like, yeah, I want to go to Terry, but the defense at the end of the day really dictates where the ball is going to go.
Got to read it right.
So there's definitely got to be a balance as far as trying to force it to one guy, but at the same time, I know if we need to make a play, I know exactly who to go to.
You basically letting that defense know too, like, hey, don't snooze, because I'm going to get you.
No, Belichick wasn't going to let him throw it to Terry.
Yeah, that's what Belichick
He gave him the Tariq Hill type of treatment. I'm thinking about last year where you were as a rookie, and then you started the last game of the season against the Cowboys. Coach Rivera, Ron, he kind of says, hey, you're going to be QB1 going into this offseason. One of the things that you did is you and Jacoby, you got the receiver together, and y'all went, I believe it was to Florida, and trained right before training camp. What led to that decision, and what did that mean to you guys as a group, just coming together and having that time together?
Yeah, I knew it was kind of one of those things that I wanted to do in the offseason, as far as kind of getting everybody together and getting on the same page kind of before we go into training camp, and so that we could come into this building and hit it full head of steam. And just because I think, you know, you had that month off in the summer, you know, people kind of get away from football for a little bit, so I think it's good to see everybody again, good to start talking the language again, and kind of getting people's minds back in the right mindset to get ready to go. And we did some things, you know, went out to dinner and hung out around the resort and stuff, and I think it was just a good bonding thing too. So it's definitely something I'll continue to do with the guys moving forward, just to see everybody, spend time with everybody, and build a closer bond, because I think the closer you are as teammates and as brothers, the better you'll play.
Yeah. Speaking of Jacoby, how has his presence been for your first year as a starter?
Yeah, it's been awesome, and I've been so fortunate to have a guy like that here who's so willing to help me. Obviously, you know, he's a competitive guy, and he wants to be out there playing, and he's definitely capable of being out there playing. He's shown that, you know, every single time he's been out on the field, he's shown what he can do. But at the same time, he wants me to be as good as I can be, and I'm forever thankful for the teammate he's been to me, and he's every single time I come off the field, you know, he's giving me advice on what he sees, and every single day as we're going through the game plan, as we're watching film, he's always telling me what he sees. He's not keeping any secrets to himself, and that's all you could ask for in a guy that's helping you through this thing. And I think there's a lot of guys in this league that aren't that way. So
absolutely.
I'm definitely,
absolutely.
Trust me.
So I'm definitely fortunate to have a guy like that
that's
here.
What's up.
Sam, we know you're young in your career, but we like to ask all our guests what was their most rewarding moment, and it can be from high school, college, or even in the pros. What has been your most rewarding moment to this point in your career? Let's take a look at the most rewarding moments brought to you by Fanatic Sportsbook, the most rewarding sportsbook.
Yeah, I mean, I think making it to the NFL was pretty rewarding, but I think this year when Coach Rivera named me as a starter was probably pretty rewarding as well. But you know, at the same time, I have bigger goals, and I have bigger plans for myself, and for this team and for this organization. And I'm going to try to do everything I can to get to that point. But I'm definitely just very blessed to be where I am and to be a part of this organization and a part of this team.
Well, it's always great to hear about career moments. When we come back, we're keeping the highlight reel going with the breakdown of some of Sam's top plays from this season. Welcome back to the Players Club. Had to mix it up a little bit. Santana Moss here with Sam Howell. It's time for us to take a look at some of Sam's top plays from this season.
Let's take a look at Driving Towards Greatness, presented by Eastern's Automotive Group. Any car, any way, for everyone since 1988.
We're going to start off this first play. This is against the Patriots. Deep pass to Jahan Dotson. What's going on here?
Yeah, so Jahan's actually the third option on this play. And, after every single rep when we run this in practice, I've actually never had to come all the way back to Jahan. But, he's kind of on a deep curl route. And then he just kind of feels his own coverage, and I kind of try to throw him away from the defender towards the sideline. And Jahan, he's one of those guys who has a really good feel for zone coverage. Like this is a backside curl route, and if you look at it, kind of looks like an out route.
I was going to say, it's like he slid out.
And he obviously, he came back like a curl first, then slid out. And that just shows the feel that Jahan has, and I just try to keep my eyes downfield and find him.
What about the protection of your offensive line, man? You mentioned your third read on this play.
For sure. In the NFL, you don't see a whole lot of quarterbacks with time to get back to their third progression, especially one that's deep down the field like this one. But that just shows how good those guys are playing right now. And that unit up front is really playing their best football right now, and it's definitely fun to play behind them.
All right, what about this one here? Next play up, 3rd down and 23. See who you hit this. Yeah. Oh, this was the scramble right here.
Oh, yeah.
What was going through your mind here, man?
Yeah, 3rd and 23. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of calls that you love in this situation. And it was one of those things where I kind of dropped back and I kind of saw a lane to run, and I saw they were playing a type of man coverage, so everyone kind of had their back turned, and no one really had their eyes on me, so I knew I had a chance to get a good amount of yards. I didn't think I was going to be able to get the first down, but I thought there was a chance where I could break a couple tackles, and luckily I did.
That's something right there, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
That's something right there that me and Fred Smoot and Logan, we talk about a lot. If you ever see those guys, if they ever turn their backs on you, you don't got nobody to throw to, with your ability to escape and, ad-lib a little bit, you can get outside that pocket and do some damage.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely something that I try to use, especially on 3rd down. In the NFL, you see a lot of man coverage on 3rd down, and when people have their backs turned, then it's a great opportunity to run. And I think these longer situations, usually you see a lot of like 2-man with 2 safeties deep in man coverage, and I think that gives you a lot of opportunity to run the football as a quarterback. So the O-line did a good job buying me time and kind of making a lane for me, and I just try to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you can tell why he was able to rush for 60 touchdowns too, and over 3,600 yards. All right, let's take a look at this third play. This one right here, deep touchdown pass to Jahan Dotson, 33-yard touchdown, man. This play right here, how was that dialed up?
Yeah, it was one of those things where we kind of had a good look, and we were in max protection, had some deep routes down the field, and the guy came up and kind of pressed Jahan, so I knew that was a matchup that we liked. And they're playing cover 0 here, and there's no deep defenders, so I know if we're in max protection, for the most part we can pick it up. They'll have one free guy, obviously because it's cover 0, but a lot of times they wouldn't bring the extra guy. They kind of would leave him as kind of a whole defender.
Yeah.
So we knew we'd have time to get the ball off. As you see 23 here, 23 is kind of the extra defender. He's not really covering anybody.
Gotcha.
He's really man on the tight end. But when the tight end blocks, that gives us numbers in protection, so we have time to throw the ball down the field, and we got a favorable look, and Jahan won his matchup.
That was a big pickup, and I was so mad when I saw him score because I had just set him down on my fantasy. I was pissed off, like, damn, I ain't got him up there.
See, that's messed up, man.
Oh, man, you got to pick and choose, man. Now I'm going to leave him up now. All right, this last one, man. 1st and 10, I think he hit Terry, man. Scary Terry for a good one. Oh, I thought he was off to the races for this one right here.
Yeah, it was, I can't remember what exactly the play was before this, but we were kind of in our, we went to the line with some tempo and kind of just got up and ran this play. We didn't huddle. It was kind of a no-huddle play. I think it might have been the 3rd down.
The deep route that Terry caught on the sidelines.
He caught the deep one on the sideline.
So we kind of got, obviously, we thought he caught the ball, but it's one of those plays where you try to get up to the line and get the ball snapped so they can't review it or anything. And this is one of our plays that, we practice this a lot, and it's one of our day one install plays. And it's just a simple slant flat concept on the backside. And, you try to get the slant in there before this backer. I probably could have done a better job of holding my eyes in the middle and not making it as a contested throw as it was, but Terry does a good job running these slant routes, and he's so good after the catch. So as many opportunities I can try to give him and get him the ball early, the better we'll be on offense.
And you talk about a tight window throw.
Whew, that thing.
That's a tight window.
Yeah, that thing got in there. You did something because that guy hesitated. So
I held my eyes there for a second, but I definitely could have held it there a little longer.
Yeah, man, this is great, man. So we have all our guests signed sign the helmet, and if you don't mind, we'd appreciate you signing it. But also, as you sign the helmet, kind of what's next for you as on this as the quarterback and also this offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for me, I just want to try to continue to give our team a chance to win the games. And I think obviously, I think the season hasn't gone the way we all would like for it to go. We feel like we should have won a lot more games than we've won so far. But still, we still have a chance to make the playoffs, and everything we want to accomplish is in front of us. And I think just trying to relay that message to the guys and keep everybody motivated and just take it one game at a time. I think we're definitely capable of winning a lot more football games, and I think we have the team to do it. So just try to keep getting better every single week and taking it one game at a time. And, if teams are going to beat us, they're going to have to earn it. That's kind of our mindset going into each and every game, and we're going to give this thing everything we got.
Well, we appreciate you all tuning in to watch another episode of the Players Club. We'll be here next week, same time. If you want to see the full episode, check out the Players Club wherever you get your podcast.